Hey everybody. Independent film producer Christine Vachon is, without question, one of the best and most important producers of the last 3 decades. At a time in the mid-1980s when being gay was still illegal in half of the United States, Christine began producing fiercely independent films that insisted that LGBTQ lives were worthy of love and visibility. I respect the heck out of Christine, and I'm writing to her because we, as in you and I, need her help. Making a movie is a collaborative process, often involving hundreds of film artists. And a producer like Christine has the tools to help us connect with those film artists. Without the help of a producer like Christine Vachon, our movie will never get made. One of the most vulnerable populations out there, trans and LGBTQ youth, are being attacked on the world's largest stage. These kids and their families need a new story. They need support. They need guidance that a film like ours can provide. Their very existence depends on it. Here's my letter to her. Hey, Christine. You and I met years ago at Sundance. It was my first time there, and I just finished making my first short film. We sat on a bus together, the way so many people at Sundance connect. And I remember you being so unusually kind, warm, and encouraging in a moment when I could have easily walked away from filmmaking. I've never forgotten your kindness. Lately, when I ask other filmmakers who could actually help me get this project off the ground, Ted Hope and a number of other producers have referred me to you again and again. And it makes sense. We're both LGBTQ parents, independent filmmakers. You're a producer and I'm a producer, you at a much larger scale than me. We're both activists, and I think we both take a damn the torpedoes approach to producing. We're also members of a club that not many people would really want to belong to, that of cancer survivors. My recent bout of cancer has left me partially disabled, and like it does for a lot of survivors, it looms. But while a cancer diagnosis understandably undoes some people, for me it's kind of done the opposite. Like the character Watanabe in Akira Kurosawa's Akiru, it has engaged my spirit for being alive. I feel turbocharged. I'll be honest, I've been a bit intimidated to reach out to you. You are a film god. Truly, you should be spoken of alongside some of the greatest producers of all time. Vanity Fair called you legendary and among the best of living producers. Personally, I don't think you're given enough credit for what you've accomplished. From the mid-'80s onward, working with gifted artists like Todd Haynes, to films like Boys Don't Cry, to recent gems like May December and Past Lives. But you didn't just produce great films. You helped create LGBTQ visibility at a time when being gay was still illegal in half of the United States. Think about that. You were making queer movies at a time when in over half of the states, there were laws that could land you in jail for up to 20 years just for being gay. Holy moly, that kind of impact is rare, and truly it's heroic. Having said that, I kind of need a hero right now. We need your help. And by we, I mean the trans and LGBTQ youth and families my work is focused on. I'm producing a feature film called A Still Small Paw with the goal of releasing it just before the 2028 presidential election. The purpose of the film is simple, and it's serious, to help protect and save the lives of trans and LGBTQ youth at a moment when another crisis is clearly headed their way. We know this because Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy have told us. We know it because state legislatures are working on over 1,000 anti-trans bills just this year. The anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ sentiment trickling down from the White House and state houses across the country is having a profound negative effect, and it's hurting kids, and it promises to hurt them even more as we approach 2028. Just last week, the House passed a bill introduced by Marjorie Taylor Greene that would make it a federal felony to provide gender-affirming care to transgender minors, meaning that doctors and parents could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison, which is just insane. Then on Thursday, even more insanity happened. Trump moved to ban all gender-affirming care for minors, making it virtually impossible for any hospital in the country to operate if it offered those treatments. Once again, trans youth are being bullied from the world's largest stage, and this will have dire consequences for a whole generation of LGBTQ youth. With a profound sadness, I've been close to the consequences of legislation like this and the rhetoric that follows. I run a web series called Angry Gay Grandpa, where I speak directly to trans and LGBTQ youth and their families, and where I reported on the suicides of five trans youth in a single county in Pennsylvania. I was so angry by what happened to these kids, I was arrested for protesting an anti-LGBTQ senator that I held culpable in these kids' deaths.
This is where a Vermont man disrupted a Senate session.
A Vermont man will pay nearly $17,000 after gluing his hand to a railing at the Pennsylvania state capitol.
In protest of a lack of response to trans youth suicide.
He says he was trying to protect transgender children.
James Lance, who's better known on social media as the Angry Gay Grandpa.
Following Ms. Green's legislative victory, PBS ran a powerful report centered on one trans teen and her family who escaped Texas and fled to Colorado. I want you to hear what she said about the hurt she's carrying and then her parents' response.
Leah says, despite all her parents' efforts, the pressure on trans people in America is pervasive, and it's hard to keep it at bay.
It's a totally different mindset, because at some point it did feel like I had heard so much from the kids at school and just from people in Texas in general that I started to question, am I the problem? I didn't know you thought that.
She's done a great job of hiding that.
It's not just this teen, but youth all over the world who are suppressing their hurt, and some of them are even dying because of it. We can do something about that. Through our film, I want to create a focusing moment for trans and LGBTQ youth and their families, a mainstreamish, prestigious, dystopian, low to mid-budget feature film that unspools in the lead-up to the 2028 election. I know that all sounds improbable, but I think it's more than possible, truly. My script, A Still Small Paw, is connecting and earning some serious cred out there. Check out the film's website for the script coverage. Just last week, on the same day Trump, Robert F. Kennedy, and Mehmet Oz announced their new oppressive rules against trans youth, a reviewer at the Blacklist called A Still Small Paw brilliant. Twice! And went on to call it a wholly unique premise and to say it's very easy to see this film being incredibly powerful and resonating with a generation of teens. It's a type of story that's important to make given the moment that we're in. Christine, I really think we've got something here. And we're building an audience of LGBTQ youth and families who are hungry for a new story that tells the truth about what they're living through and gives them the tools to survive it. Our audience is at about 25,000 on YouTube right now, far from the millions that are possible, especially if we had the resources to grow it. But it's a beginning, right? I believe you once said that if they have a parade, they get a film. Well, marches, protests, and parades in support of trans and LGBTQ youth and their families have been happening all over the world. As you said in a Vanity Fair article in 2023, speaking about another moment of crisis, words that unfortunately feel painfully applicable to the trauma now being handed down to these kids, that it lends a sense of urgency to the movies we made. You can't wait around. People are dying. You've got to tell the story now. Christine, I'm not asking you to produce this film. Or maybe, I don't know, but from the looks of your IMDb Pro, your hands are full, and I'm not even sure you'd be interested. Our film is set in Middle America, aimed first at LGBTQ youth. Our film is unlike any of your other previous projects. But I do have a sincere and heartfelt ask. I need your help to intercede on our behalf to help connect this project, and me, with serious, qualified producers and allies who have the experience, reach, and courage to bring this film into the world. Not token or symbolic help, but real producing partners and allies. You've spent your career doing exactly that, helping important stories connect before the industry and sometimes the culture were ready. I'd be deeply grateful if you could spend a little time with my work at angrygaygrandpa.com and astillsmallpaw.com. Also, please take a look at our short film, Not Losing You, which I'm proud to say reached nearly 2.5 million views across YouTube and TikTok combined. If you get a chance, read the comments too, because that's where you'll really find out how trans and LGBTQ youth are doing these days. You can find it at Angry Gay Grandpa. Christine, if possible, could we please meet for a conversation? I'd be glad to meet you in person in the city. My son and granddaughter live there, so any excuse to come down from Vermont would be welcome. Or obviously we could meet by Zoom. Feel free to reach me via email or through my websites. I've also sent you and your producing partner, Pam Koffler, a package, and I'll follow up in about a week. It includes instructions for accessing the script, pitch deck, and a proof of concept. I'm so sorry to push like this and to communicate by video, but the kids and families we're building this for don't have time to wait. And if we're going to build it for them, neither do we. Thank you so much for everything you've already done and continue to do. Like so many others out there, I'm truly grateful.